What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Cologne from House of Rasslin. This is my review for the April 20th episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Rasslin on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Man, I'm trying to find the words to describe this show. The big news to come out of this episode of AEW Dynamite is the joint pay-per-view between New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW. It will be held June 26th from the United Center in Chicago. It is being called the Forbidden Door. Jay White came out and said his words. I'll get into that a little bit later. I'm excited for this. Should have took a picture with the president of New Japan. He was at Windy City Riots this past weekend in Chicago in Villa Park at the Odeum. And me and my colleague, Josh Lopez from Pro Wrestling Transcripts and Hoots Podcast, we walked right past him. We were like, man, we should have got a picture, but it was late and we were trying to get out and everything. But that is the big news. Let the dream matches run rampant. There is a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz. I am really it's kind of, how do I put it? Very, I don't want to say surprising, but just huh? There's a lot of people that feel this New Japan AEW announcement is very underwhelming. Surprising. Let me know what you guys think about that. But overall, man, this show was a fun show to watch. Man, it started off with CM Punk, Dustin Rhodes. I'm looking at my notes right here. Forgive me, guys. Man, this match had a 90s feel. It's hard to place if it was an early 90s feel, a mid 90s feel, or a late 90s feel. But I loved the pacing. I enjoyed it. It wasn't. I know some people might say, oh, it's too slow. It was this or that. Look, CM Punk is 42, 43. Dustin Rhodes is 53. I do not expect these guys to go at the speed of Darby Allin and Dante Martin or anything like that. These guys went at the speed that fits them, that showcases their skills, their talents at their best. I like this match for the fact that they did not try to do something to overdo it. It was just perfect. Both guys were selling their knees. There was a spot where Dustin Rhodes did the code reg. There was a figure four counter on Dustin Rhodes did on CM Punk. CM Punk couldn't do the GTS, and he rolled up Dustin Rhodes for the 1-2-3. Then there was you could say the AEW Code of Honor where they shook hands, and pretty cool moment there. Nice way to set the tone for AEW Dynamite tonight. CM Punk, I know a lot of people say that, oh, well, they're using CM Punk too much and this and that. Well, look, this CM Punk has a choice in this. If he wants to wrestle in the opening match every week, that's his choice. Me personally, I don't mind it because, man, his opening, he's opening up Dynamite, setting the pace and tone of the show. And that's a great way for AEW to start off the show. With CM Punk, of course, if you mix it up where he's in the main event and stuff like that. But for the most part, when he does open Dynamite, he just sets the tone. It's like, okay, now I'm in this. Let's go for this ride where we're gonna go. Post match, CM Punk is walking back to the. There we go. That cable doesn't want to stay there. It's the cable for my microphone. Forgive me, guys. He's walking up the ramp. Then Hangman Page music hits. The AEW World Champion hits. And we get this face-off between Hangman Page and CM Punk. I don't know if this is going to lead to Hangman Page and CM Punk at Double or Nothing. I'm all for it. That will be dope. Let's go. And what I liked about this face-off was that they didn't say anything or, get a microphone and, I'm going to do this and, you want this and you want that and overdo it. Like, it was just simple face-off and the crowd just ate it up. Then we went to a video package of Wardlow coming into the arena. The cops stop him. Mark Sterling gives him a bunch of pretty much guidelines that he can't do because he's no longer with MJ, or MJF has his contract, and MJF has instituted all these guidelines and everything. So basically, Wardlow is handcuffed. The cops lead him to his room to get dressed and everything. There was a line that Mark Sterling, basically repeating what MJF said, called him, you're such and such pig. And once Mark Sterling leaves, then Wardlow just looks at him and is like, oink oink bitch. And I'm like, ooh, man, that's so good. He's over, man. He is over. It is fun watching this guy come out. It's fun for the fact that we're not rushing to it. It's just little things to just, okay, boom, okay, boom, okay, this obstacle, and eventually MJF's going to run out of obstacles, and Wardlow is just going to beat his ass. Then from there, we get a match between Black Combat Club, Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Bryan Danielson versus Dante Martin, Lee Moriarty, and Brock Anderson. One thing that caught my attention in this match was, of course, William Regal usually is on commentary when the Blackpool Combat Club is on commentary. He kept praising Brock Anderson and Arn Anderson. I think that's something to keep an eye out on. Of course, everyone is looking at Lee Moriarty, and they've been saying Lee Moriarty should go there and everything. That's still not out of the question, but something about him praising Brock Anderson, I think that's something to really keep an eye out on. Because let's face it, Arn Anderson and Brock Anderson, like, they're pretty much in limbo. And Arn Anderson has stated this in an interview he did recently that, since Cody returned to the WWE, they're kind of in limbo right now. I wouldn't mind Arn Anderson and William Regal join forces and, like, put this, like, horseman type technician group together that just beat the hell out of people and gets the gold. That would be fun. That would be fun and interesting. So we'll see where that goes. Then we get a backstage segment with the Bucks, Adam Cole, Red Dragon, of course, Brandon Cutler is behind the camera. And Kyle O'Reilly's pretty much giving them a pep talk like, hey, man, yeah, we lost, I lost, everyone's lost and everything, but we got to pick this up. There's a reason why we are the Undisputed Elite. So I guess that's their name officially. They kind of hinted towards it before, but I guess tonight is the official. Maybe, forgive me, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, or if that's true, that this is like the first time on Dynamite that they've mentioned the Undisputed Elite. I know fans have mentioned it, but I think this is the first time that they have mentioned the Undisputed Elite. So Kyle O'Reilly's just giving his big pep talk like, hey, I'm going to defeat Jungle Boy and, get my place in the Owen Hart tournament, and then boom. So from there, we get a video package of Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal, pretty much going back to what happened last Dynamite and Rampage, or Battle of the Belts, where they had that confrontation and everything. Pretty cool. And basically, in this promo, the Giant Man, Sanam Singh, basically tells Samoa Joe, your time is coming. I'm interested to see how this guy wrestles and how he moves and how they work with him. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy turns out to be like the Big Show in WCW. Because the Big Show in WCW was like, man, who is this guy? Oh, Andre the Giant's son? Yeah, whatever. And he wound up being a really good wrestler before he went to WCW or WWE. Me personally, I've always enjoyed more of Big Show's work in WCW than WWE. More so because WCW just like built him up as a monster. Like you got to be special to knock him down. Where in WWE, everybody just beat the hell out of the Big Show to some extent. Then from there, we get the major announcement. So Tony Schiavone comes out. He introduces Tony Schiavone or Tony Khan. Tony Khan then introduces the New Japan Pro Wrestling president. Forgive me, guys, I can't remember his name. So he comes out, and as he stands beside Tony Khan, Adam Cole interrupts and he's like, no. It needs someone like me to make this major announcement. So he goes on and just he announced that on June 26th from the United Center, New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW will have the Forbidden Door. And then he throws it to Jay White, leader of the Bullet Club. And Jay White mentions that this is for the Undisputed Elite and the Bullet Club. I am looking forward to this event, and by that, I am looking to get a ticket because the tickets will go on sale the day after my birthday, so I am looking forward to getting a ticket for that event. There are so many possibilities, so many twists, turns, angles, dream matches, what have you. I know one thing that is going out there, and a lot of people have mentioned it, and that's, could this pay-per-view be the return of Kenny Omega? Could Kenny Omega return before the pay-per-view and have a match at Forbidden Door, or could he return at the Forbidden Door and set up something down the line? Hey, could we get Kenny Omega versus Okada at the United Center? That would be spectacular. There's so many things. I tweeted this, and I strongly believe this. With this announcement, let's see, we're April 20th, May 5th, June 26th, so we're looking at maybe a month and 2 weeks from this pay-per-view. I think this is something that wrestling fans who love AEW and just professional wrestling fans in general, and of course those who love New Japan Pro Wrestling fans, AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and you could throw in New Japan Strong is going to be must-see TV for the next till the Forbidden Door. And I know as we get closer, it's going to build and build and build. There's a lot of stuff that can happen, and all I got to say is you do not want to miss AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and if you can get New Japan Strong on New Japan World, get it. This is going to be a fun time for professional wrestling fans. Again, if you're not, again, it's hard for me to understand people that do not think this is a big announcement, or, oh, it's just underwhelming, yeah, like taking it very passive. Like the last time New Japan has done something in the United States of this magnitude was, you could say, 3.5 years ago with Ring of Honor at Madison Square Garden, when that actually didn't live up to the expectations, because let's face it, when the tickets and the event was announced, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, Cody Rhodes, they were all, being anticipated at being at the event. And then, of course, new AEW was being formed. But man, this is a huge event. It's a pay-per-view. I know the world is going to be watching. Just the matchups and the possibilities going to lead up to it. You look at AEW's roster, and then you look at what New Japan has. It's going to be fun. My thing, just crossed my mind. Again, there's no word or anything like that, but the only thing that would be kind of cool is if somehow Finn Balor was able to be there. I don't know if when his contract's up or, you don't want wrestlers to get released because that just sucks. And the whole 90-day thing, you just don't want that. But if his contract is up, there's no 90-day clause and he could sign with another company, that would be pretty cool if that happened. But let's see. But man, this is a big thing. Man, Chicago in June. Me personally, I wish it was at Soldier Field with 60,000 people. But shoot for that next year. But man, this is going to be a big deal. Like I said, from now till as we get closer to June 26th, the Forbidden Door, AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and New Japan Strong is going to be must-see TV. I would say it's not going to be on par, but the interest and just, man, what's going to happen, man, it's probably going to be something we haven't seen in almost 20 plus years. I wouldn't even, maybe like the invasion angle with WCW, ECW, and WWF. The interest that had early on, but man, it could be just as interesting as the NWO angle, just how that had so much interest around the same time. But man, it's going to be so much fun where this goes, who shows up, who's going to be there. Man, I'm jacked. For those of you who are my subscribers, I think born and raised and I live in Chicago, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be held at the house that Jordan built. That's going to be fun. So, yeah. I'm going to do a video on the Forbidden Door and just predictions and that whole thing. But, man, that's the major announcement, and I'm stoked for it. So, after this announcement, we get a backstage segment with Jade Cargill, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan. And they're basically mocking Marina Shafir. And I believe it's this Friday or next Friday. Jade Cargill is going to face Marina Shafir. That should be interesting how it goes. Hopefully, it's a better just overall reception than what Marina Shafir had the week before. Like I said in that review, her entrance music just did not fit her. It threw off everything, and something just didn't click. If she comes out and is just fierce and just attacking, that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that match just to see how it plays out. Then we get a match between Wardlow, and the Butcher. Butcher has the early hand. It basically ends with Wardlow powerbombing Butcher 4 times for the win. That the guy's over. Wardlow is over. And during this time, forgive me, guys, I was looking at that, but this was the aftermath of the announcement. And usually when AEW has something like a big moment, it doesn't take people away from what's happening on screen, but just social media just blows up and explodes. Then from there, we get an Eddie Kingston promo. Shout out to Eddie Kingston having the Tupac hoodie on, calling out Jericho. And I love the line where he said, "I don't sow, I just reap." I love that, man. I love that line. Then we get the Owen Hart qualifying match between Kyle O'Reilly and Jungle Boy. This was a solid match. Kyle O'Reilly wins. This tournament is going to be dope. And also they did announce that Ishii will be facing Adam Cole this Friday for a qualifying on Rampage. Man, this is, again, this New Japan AEW partnership going into the Forbidden Door. I'm telling you, this is going to be fun. And again, this isn't a knock at WWE. Cody Rhodes returning to WWE has provided a much needed boost in interest and intrigue in WWE, and now we get this. Like, man, this is fun for professional wrestling. Then we get a backstage segment with MJF, and he's just upset with Wardlow winning, and he's like, you know what? I know I'm gonna handle this. He has this money. Jake Roberts comes in, gives this pretty great promo. Lance Archer interrupts, and he's like, you know what? I can't wait to make him die, and this. So we're gonna get Wardlow and Lance Archer next Wednesday on Dynamite. That should be cool. Then we get Hook. Yes, Hook's AEW Dynamite debut is pretty much a squash. And then during the match, Danhausen tries to curse him. Again, this has been leading up weeks and weeks that Danhausen can't curse Hook. Danhausen gets the mic after the match. He says, you know what? I can't get this. You can't be cursed, and so on and so on. Then you know what? I am going to have you in a match. So somewhere down the line, we're going to get Hook versus Danhausen. That should be interesting in how that plays out. Then we get a backstage segment with Frankie Kazarian, and he's interrupted by Scorpio Sky. And pretty interesting dynamic there. Then we go to Sammy Guevara coming out with Tay Conti. We go to commercial. They come back. Honestly, I don't know what's happened here, but it seems like we're in a slow build to a double turn. Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti, they came across like, I don't want to say Maria Kanellis and Mike Bennett, almost to a degree. I wouldn't say Edge and Lita, because he was just very pompous and arrogant, and that's how he came across, and just like, yeah, whatever. And she has this different look and persona, like she's more the character, like she's more full of herself, and they're just, yeah, it's just very like, it just came across very like, okay, it's cool that you're in a relationship, but like you're kind of throwing it in people's faces, and you're better than you. Just subtle things and mannerisms like that that their characters are throwing off. The men of the year, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and Dan Lambert, they received a huge ovation from the crowd. Ethan Page received a huge ovation. Dan Lambert received a huge ovation. So we're getting a rematch. It's going to be a ladder match. And then somewhere down the line, we're going to get a mixed tag match between either Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky with Paige Van Zant versus Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti. That should be interesting. So that was a really cool segment. Then we get a video of the House of Black. They've been having these like subliminal like promos, almost vague. I know Fuego del Sol, like he mentioned, hey, are they trying to come after me or anything? But they have been very vague. And the one line that sticks out of this promo is Malachi Black saying the house is owed a debt. You know, they started the promo like, hey, your eyes have not gone black. Are they teasing a members being added to the House of Black? I don't know. This is going to be interesting. Then we get a match between Danielle, Carmella, and Britt Baker. Britt Baker is super over. Danielle, Carmella, she pretty much was by proxy heel because it was in Pittsburgh and this was Britt Baker's hometown, and she just had the adulation. She came out with two Pittsburgh Steelers football players. Interesting thing about this is that she did not come out with Jamie Hayter or Rebel, even though normally she's come out with other people. Was it oh my God, the guy from Cobra Kai, the villain? I forget his name. I believe he came out with them with Jamie Hayter and Rebel, but no, she didn't come out with that. It's interesting to see where she goes. It looks like she might be a tweener now, and they might turn her face because, let's face it, Red Velvet's a heel, Layla Hirsch is a heel, Kiera Hogan's a heel, of course Serena Deeb's a heel. Trying to think of who else is a heel. They got quite a few heels in the women's division, so might be time to freshen up and turn her face. I personally would like Nyla Rose to turn face because she's got so much personality on social media. And to display that on screen would be very entertaining. Then we get a video package of Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. So they're going to have a Philly street fight next week on Dynamite. Dynamite will be in Philadelphia. They also announced Ishii and Cole on Rampage. Man, Excalibur. Holy crap. If you watch this part after the Serena Deeb Shida video package, freaking Excalibur sounds like those commercials where they're reading the fine print at the end, like I know it's bad, forgive me guys, but that's what he sounded like. I don't know what he said. I could pick up a little bit, but man, AEW should just announce a few matches, and then actually what they should do is just have the full match graphic. Instead of going through the matches separately, they should just, if they already have it pre-planned, have all the matches there so people can see it. You know, oh, this is what happened, and then if you add another match, you just expand the graphic. But yeah, man, that's kind of getting not like, I don't want to say bad presentation, but just like you might want to improve that. Then we get Darby versus Andrade. This is a crazy match. The Blade and Mark Quinn come in and help Andrade. Mark Quinn is in the crowd, and there's a guy with a sign that says, I forgot what it said, but it's basically Darby, blah, 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 and with a Sting mask. And Mark Quinn tears the sign up. The guy takes off his cap, takes off his mask. It's Sting. Sting hiding as Sting. Like, it's a funny trope in wrestling with Sting. He just beats the hell out of him. They fight through the aisle and everything. And there's a point where Mark Quinn and Sting wrestle. They fight up the stairs. Mark Quinn gets a chair, hits Sting. Sting no-sells it and looks at him. He starts beating him. He throws him off. Mark Quinn lands in Andrade and Blade's lap. Sting walks up to the little short balcony area that's, pretty much the entrance for if the venue has, sports teams and stuff like that, just an exit and everything. Sting jumps off another balcony. Yes, Sting jumps off another balcony. 62-year-old Sting. Oh no, 63-year-old Sting jumped off a balcony. That's insane. I'm sorry. At this point, when AEW starts their Hall of Fame, Sting needs to be the first inductee, because what that man has done since he's joined AEW at his age, at this stage of his career, that man needs to be the first inductee, because he is setting the standard of anyone over the age of 50. That he is setting a high standard. You had Darby doing a coffin drop, being countered into a German suplex by Andrade. There was a point where Andrade was trying to get Darby in there. He didn't get out of there, and then he hit him, had him on his shoulder. He looked like he was going to do a driver onto the coffin. Darby escaped, knocked Andrade out into the coffin. Darby, like his normal, that freaking dive spear he does through the rope where he just freaking hits the hell out of people, hits Andrade. Andrade's in the coffin. So Darby's trying to close the coffin, and Jose, Andrade's assistant, comes off. He tries to stop Darby. Darby hits him onto the inside of the coffin, which is nothing but thumbtacks. He gets hurt. Darby hits Andrade, closes it, 1, 2, 3. Darby wins. Granted, I could see why some people would think the ending was kind of lame, but it was a fun match. They plugged, Dynamite Rampage. Then out comes the Hardys. They're doing the delete. The crowd is enjoying it, and that was AEW Dynamite for April 20th. Man, it was a fun show. Again, the big announcement, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, having a joint pay-per-view in Chicago, June 26th at the United Center, the Forbidden Door. That's huge. Man, this was just a fun Dynamite show in the middle of the week. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It's hard for me to pinpoint like things that like stick out, like, oh man, they should do this, they should do that. Usually when it's a fun wrestling show, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact, or anything, it's really hard to pinpoint what it was. I would say if there's one knock, is that in certain spots when you have, like in this case, the huge announcement, like there's certain, like once you have that, like the next match or moment has to be like intense, where it keeps up the momentum. And I think that's something that AEW does need to improve on, is that when you have a momentum in one spot, the next moment has to carry that momentum. It goes down a little bit, but then it goes up and everything. But it was a fun Dynamite. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of, or what you thought of this episode of AEW Dynamite. Again, I will be doing a video on predictions and what have you of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door pay-per-view in June 26th in Chicago. I'm fingers crossed. Hopefully I can get some tickets. My birthday is the day before. So, man, hopefully I can get some tickets to that event. I want to attend it. Yes, it's on pay-per-view, but no, I live in Chicago. I've been to the United Center. I was there for CM Punk's first, his debut in AEW. So, fingers crossed, man. I hope so. But, man, this is fun. Pro wrestling is fun. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up. And like I always say, there's so much wrestling. There's so much fun stuff happening. Cody Rhodes returned to WWE, New Japan and AEW Super Show, Impact Wrestling, NWA, GCW. There's a lot of fun stuff that's happening in the world of professional wrestling. Stop fighting over it. Enjoy it. There's a lot of serious stuff happening in the world, and this is some form of an escape for some of us. And, man, just enjoy it, man, and appreciate it, because just appreciate it, man. All right. With that,